Welcome everybody to episode 3 of The Wolf of Wallsend. Loving the name, and I'm absolutely loving the feedback of it as well. Pretty proud. We've got a special guest here today, Mr. Joshua Tulip. Josh is a online marketing account manager at Revolution, a local business based here in Newcastle. I'll let you introduce yourself and do it a little bit more justice than that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, thanks very much for the introduction. I'm really happy to be here. I've worked in digital marketing for about 10 years now. The past 7 years has been in more senior roles. I'm an omni-channel marketer, but specialism in SEO, search engine marketing. I joined Revolution a few months ago, brilliant company. Yeah,
brilliant. As I say, I want to do a little bit more justice than, online marketing and account manager. I know you've got a bit of a knack when it comes to the marketing skill set. We'll put it that way. I know you've done a lot in your time, very hands-on stuff. Indirect marketing as well. Used to work the streets of Newcastle.
I did indeed. Back in the promoter days, I've actually had a varied lot of jobs. I mean, I think the first job that I ever had was at Aviva, which was Norwich Union then, as a data entry clerk. I've worked in sort of outbound sales for Vodafone when I was younger. That was heartbreaking. For me, you've either got it or you haven't, I think, in terms of outbound sales. Obviously for the past 10 years been marketing. Yeah,
good. A bit of a disclaimer for everyone as well. Josh and I are really good friends.
We are.
Bezas, outside of work life. I'd say we've knew each other for 5 years or so.
5 or 6 probably.
5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
Probably crossed paths a little bit before that on whatever nights out and stuff like that. But I was thinking about how to introduce you on the podcast earlier before I give you a phone call, and I was just thinking about one of the first proper conversations that we ever had. Work related, and it was when we were on the lash
in Durham. Yeah.
And we're at the boathouse or somewhere like that. For anyone who knows Durham, it's just on the bridge, and everyone else was talking just shite about everything else, and we were talking shite about sales, marketing, business.
We should get a life probably, shouldn't we? But we clicked at that, and I think that when you're passionate about something, you're quite like me in the sense that. With digital marketing, I'm lucky enough to do something that I love doing.
Yeah.
So I'm a geek, everybody that knows me knows that I'm a nerd. I work in data analytics, so it's perfect. But obviously that's where we clicked in Durham. Yeah. So we always have a bit of crack about work and sales and marketing.
It always leads to that. I was saying. To myself before having a laugh, we're the only people in our entire friendship group who knows that PPC isn't a different type of protective equipment from COVID or something like that. Are you talking about PPE again? No, PPC actually. But no, good stuff anyway. So look mate, I've started to let on a little bit to this first question, right? In I guess the format, you've listened to the first one, right?
Yeah.
Go check it out now.
Yeah, check it out. Nice. Got to plug it. Plug it.
So I'm just getting used to the soundboard. Sorry about that one. I can only reach the first few, so all the best ones are up the top. Anyway, I started. So you'll know that the forum of this is just ask you a few questions, right? Natural answers off the top of the dome, and I know that you've started to allude to this question a little bit, right? But it's how did you find yourself in marketing? And marketing and sales, you've talked about Vodafone.
Yeah.
Sounds like you might have fell into it like the rest of us, right? I fell into sales, I fell into that outbound calling role. But if you talk about the data entry piece at Aviva, who are on Durham Lane brand wall, by the way.
Nice, love to see it.
What brought you to that role?
So it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, I bounced around a few jobs when I was young, sales jobs or retail jobs or whatever, and I was really trying to find my place. I mean, I've been able to sort of build basic websites since I was 14, 15, but I never went to college, never went to uni. I was never really one for the classroom, to be honest. So self-taught, I always struggled to get a job doing it because I didn't have any experience. I was applying for jobs, but no experience, and obviously self-taught, no degree. So I always wanted to get into either development or digital marketing. but yeah, I think having early sales jobs, worked at EE in billing as well as customer service. So I've got like I've been able to build up quite a good skill set in rapport, in empathy, as well as being quite technically minded as well, which sets me up quite well. I mean, at Revolution, we are really a growth agency. So you know, you guys are revenue generation specialists here. Plugging that in. But obviously at Revolution, we really concentrate on revenue growth as well, and so you have to have a sales mindset.
Growth mindset.
Growth mindset. It's all about generating leads. I mean, when we look at somebody's website in terms of SEO now, and you know, there's an optimization score, say it's 20 out of 100. A lot of SEOs will go and say, right, I'm going to fix all of your website and get this to 100 out of 100. Give me all the money and I'll get it done. But what I found is that directors and CEOs, the question that you always ask is, what does that mean in terms of revenue? And so it's really important that you've got a growth mindset when you're sort of doing digital marketing.
Let's dig into that one a little bit then. I'll not go straight on to the next question, right? Because it's pertinent what you say there about ROI. You know, I was reading something, and it's a conversation that we're constantly having here at Durham Lane as well, right? And shout out to Sean Ball, he's really passionate about this. He kind of shows everyone the right way to measure it as well.
Yeah,
and
measurement's one of the key things.
You know, we're branching into the enterprise more and more as well, and I'm speaking with marketing managers, marketing directors, heads of marketing for different segments, right, in these multifaceted or complex organizations. But like understanding about what they're KPI'd on is really interesting, right? Is it leads generated? Is it leads generated that become sales accepted leads? Is it just pure revenue? Is it awareness? How do you measure awareness, right? So let's drill into that ROI piece a little bit as well, because it's really pertinent here. It's something that we're constantly talking about. But you know, what would your response be to the CEO who's asking you that question about what does this mean for ROI?
Well,
is it?
It's a different approach that I take, and this is why I see success for clients, because instead of me being that SEO that says, right, your score's 20 out of 100, let's get it to 100 out of 100, my approach is very different, and it catches people off guard, because I say to people, look, let's get it to 25 out of 100, but that extra 5% that we concentrate on is going to be the 5% where you're going to make your most money.
Right, the best.
And so, the best converting. So say, for example, you've got an e-commerce website, and, you know, when we're looking at marketing prioritization, you know, you've got 10,000 products on your shop. What do we optimize first? And that's always the main question from a market manager. Where do we concentrate our time? And really, we're looking at pages that have got the best conversion rates, products that perform the best. Because obviously, if you start pouring traffic into the top of the funnel, that funnel is the best performing one. You're going to see the best return.
That's interesting.
And so, as a strategy, it's a bit of that strategy concentrating on high performing pages isn't anything new. But sort of having conversations where you're saying, let's just focus on, you know, small portion of the website. Drop the fluff, and
bottom and top line stuff.
Absolutely, and I think that's where we see a lot of success at the minute.
Yeah, that's good. That's really interesting. I think we should talk about that a little bit more another day. But the next question for me, and I know I kind of know the answer to this one personally, because you know, hopefully no one's listening, right? That would fall under this category. But up until Revolution, you didn't bounce around, right? But you worked with a couple of divvies.
I was finding my place, you know. I was finding my place, and I had a few bad experiences with the place that I was working. And I think mainly that's because I didn't do enough due diligence, really. You know, I think when you're interviewing for roles, you always feel like you're the one that's under the microscope. When actually, you know, when you've got confidence in your ability, it should be you actually waiting for the right answers from the person. And I think also when you do bounce around a bit and you leave roles, when you're looking at a CV, and I know this because I check CVs for other people that, you know, obviously when I'm managing people, and you see like, you know, 3-month gap, 6-month gap, you know, or whatever, and you do think this guy looks like a bit of a job hopper, but actually, you know, there can be all kinds of issues for the person and the management teams in place and things like that. So, that should always be considered as well.
Yeah, maybe bounce around's not the right way to put it.
Well,
just say,
but
taking the stepping stones to get where you need to be, right?
Yeah.
You're going from third podium to second to gold, right?
Yeah,
now you're at the gold medal,
well,
right?
we are, yeah.
Anyway, Olympics are going at the moment, so that's probably where I found that reference. But, you got into the current role just by trying to find the right place for you to grow, blossom.
Yeah.
Right? And blossoming for you is a big thing, right? As I say, you're a man of many talents in this, from knocking on doors to smashing phones to hitting you up with the best SEO you've seen. You won't even realise how good it is, But anyway, you fell into this role because it's the right place for you to grow and the right place for you to blossom. And I'm saying that already, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, do you know what I mean? I'm saying that already. I think we spoke the week that you got the role.
That's right. Yeah, we
Revolution,
did.
and
We did.
there was quite a immediate kind of change in persona. It might have even been on Xbox or together or something like that, right?
Modern Warfare. But
it's good. It's good to see.
It feels like that as well, and but it's about just finding like-minded people to work with. I mean, Jill Cook, who's the CEO and director, and Adam Blenkinsop, who's the other director. They've got growth mindsets. When I'm explaining my methodology and strategy to other places that I've worked, it's almost like I'm having to sell that this is the way that we should be doing it. But I remember when the first week or 2 weeks and speaking to them about the approach, and they were like, that's it, this is what we need to be doing, and they've taught me a lot as well. So it's just about finding like-minded people.
So you say probably best that you collaborate with them, you don't work with them.
Absolutely, and that's a great relationship. They're very visible within the business. They're always interested in what you're up to. They always thank you for your work, and that, for me, it's important to get that appreciation in a workplace. But we're getting some really good results, and we're growing. We do these things called growth sprints, which is a sort of a Silicon Valley methodology.
Right. Okay.
And that's your typical sort of agile sprint. And looking at sort of a growth strategy and combining the two.
That's interesting.
And we've just done one internally for ourselves. So we're doing a lot of stuff like that, a lot of innovative stuff that I haven't done in any other agency that I've worked at. It's no fluff. It really is sort of just getting into it, getting the work done.
Yeah, that's good. It's taken me quite a long time to know when to cut the fluff.
Yeah.
Who it's needed with, but more importantly, who it's
some
not
people
needed
need
with.
it. Some people need it. Some people want the 100-page PowerPoint presentations and the hand holding, and other people just want to skip right to the costing slide at the end. And that's where the skill set comes in of yourself. And people like us, when we speak to people, we have to discover the need. What does the person need? What do they want?
Definitely. So that's a good one. Then you're talking about. And we'll leeway into this one really nicely, right? You're talking about discovering the need, right? So what's your, and you've, again, we're answering all of these questions ahead of time here, but to a degree, right? But what's your go-to value builder when marketing and doing your selling piece of Revolution's offerings? You've said that you've got your own little formula, your own little framework that sits in the back of your mind. Doesn't matter which business you go to, you align that framework to the business to get the best outcome from them and you. But what's your go-to thing that just kind of wows people and makes them think, shit, this is the guy for me. He's going to help me get to the next level.
It's always forecasting.
Right.
So forecasting for search is perennially impossible. People will always say you can't guarantee first page rankings, and I mean you can't. When you've got a certain skill set and you can sort of analyse data, sort of what chance you've got of moving somebody up from the second page to the first page of Google, but you can't guarantee it. And with that it becomes very difficult then to forecast. So if you give me $5,000 a month for your SEO strategy, what does that look like in terms of revenue? And that's that revenue first approach. And so forecasting, I'll say, look, and I always go with a strategy. So I don't go to a pitch with a proposal that's a cred stock that says this is Revolution,
right.
This is us, this is what we understand about you. I'll say if we start work tomorrow, this is what we'll be doing, and this is what that'll look like. And then in month 2, if we have to pivot, we will. But if we don't, this is what month 2 looks like. And agencies don't do that because you have to invest a lot of time to get a strategy ready before you go in and you know if you've got the work or not. But it works, you know. People like that because, and I talk them through the process. I'll say, so this is what we're doing in month 1. This is how I do it. This is why I do it. And this is what it looks like. And agencies are scared to do that because they don't want to put the cards on the table in case somebody picks up a proposal and takes it to a freelancer and gets it done cheaper. Yeah. My opinion on that is that a freelancer won't do as good as we'll do it. So
it's not their strategy at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's my sort of value add. That works really, really well. Go with a strategy. Go with a plan, and show what revenue will be realised.
Yeah. That's good. It's interesting. You know, that revenue. It's a must, like the revenue. Some people, as we were saying before, right? Some people want the fluffy shite, and they want, you know, to kill half an hour of the day watching you go through this deck that you've, you know, probably done 1,000,001 times.
Yeah.
I've been really successful recently, right? At just going with 10 or 15-minute appointments in people's calendar, having a handful of questions that I need to get out of them, and just cutting all the bullshit and just asking the questions. And it's, you know, there's different strokes for different folks, right? But especially the people that I'm going after, right? You've got CMOs, CSOs, chief commercial officers, chief revenue officers. In mid-market and enterprise, you get a lot of fluff.
Of course. I mean, it's about finding the right fit as well, you know, for you. I mean, we all like to make money, but sometimes, especially in the marketing world, in the agency world, sometimes we end up with clients that, you know, you end up over delivering all the time for them. They're all never off the phone. Luckily we don't have any clients like this at the minute. I mean, we try really hard to find a good match, but for me, if somebody wants all of the fluff, it's a bit off-putting. I mean, some people do need it, and I get that, but for me, I like to have 15-minute meetings generally. I don't like meetings being more than half an hour. At Revs, we have half an hour meetings as standard. You know, anything more than half an hour probably is too long to discuss on a phone call and requires a sit-down meeting. Obviously a bit harder with COVID, but for me, I just want to get in there, discuss action points, and that's it. Bang! I want to get it done. But like you say, not everybody works like that. That's just sort of my style, I suppose.
Well, that's where we get on really well, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
definitely. So, next question then. Let's know the top tools for your trade, right? I don't know much about the tools that you might use, but I know what SEM is. And stuff like
that.
So,
similar to SEMrush. I've used Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a brand, ahrefs.com. It's called Ahrefs, which is a bit of a peculiar name, but that's the HTML tag for a backlink, and backlinks are really important in SEO. A backlink is a link from another website back to yours, for those that don't know. But yeah, it's great. The data insights are fantastic. I use that for a lot of my forecasting, to be honest. I use a lot of the data out of that and sort of run formulas in Google Sheets. But between Ahrefs, Google Sheets, Screaming Frog, for those technical SEOs out there, Screaming Frog, crazy name, I know, but one of the best tools you'll ever come across, always has been as far as I'm concerned. So shout out to those guys. Oh, that's a bit creepy, but that's fine.
It's called Screaming Frog, I think, as well.
But yeah, obviously the Google suite, but Ahrefs and Screaming Frog should be in every SEO's toolkit. If it's not, you need to switch up your subscriptions. You know, they are the best, and I've tried them all.
Well, you heard it here first, right? You heard it here first. No excuses, no. And this is a question that I've had to rejig at the top of this one a little bit, because I don't want to bore you by saying the same thing, because it's a question where I feel like you have to kind of set the scene a little bit, right? Otherwise it can be a bit vague. So I've rejigged it a little bit, right? And I don't want to say, pursuit of happiness like I have on the last 2 episodes for the cold calling piece. So I'm going to ask you your favourite media for marketing, right, and sales as well. So we'll hit it with a sort of 2-pronged approach for you, Josh, this time.
Yeah.
And to set the scene, I was thinking about what I can talk about other great films, right, and lesser known ones. We've had Moneyball. We've talked about Wolf of Wall Street, obviously.
Yeah, Wolf of Wallsend over here.
The Wolf of Wallsend.
Wallsend.
I'm thinking another great film, right, for sales is Lord of War. Now, I know I don't know. I'm not too sure if you saw it, but it's a Nicolas Cage film where he's an international arms dealer.
Right. Okay.
And basically, what Nicolas Cage is doing in this film is at the very end of, I guess, the Cold War, right? Just as the Soviet Union is fallen, right, and they're tearing down the wall in Berlin and all the rest. He's smoking cigars and making alliances with the old, Kremlin Guard and the Soviet military leaders. And basically what he's doing is he's walking into Russia with, empty shipping containers, and he's walking out with every AK-47 and helicopter and tank that they've ever built that they don't need anymore, and he's just shipping them all around the world, right? So he's going into Russia, he's taking 100,000 AKs. It's a brilliant scene as well, by the way. I can't remember what music is. I'm sure it's like Jimi Hendrix all along the watchtower or something when it's happening.
Yeah.
But he's going in and he's just taking all of these weapons that they don't need anymore or don't have a use at that time for, and taking them into Africa, taking them into the Middle East, and he's just redistributing all of these old weapons. But it's kind of the
entrepreneurialism.
Yeah, the entrepreneurialism, the compelling event, right? We talk about sales qualification from budget to define need, decision maker. What better compelling event for an international arms dealer than the end of a war, right? Yeah. Potentially one of the biggest wars that there was ever going to be, right? It was like set up for World War III type stuff. But yeah, went on for a little bit on that one, but I had to think of another great one at the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your favourite media for marketing, for sales? Nothing springs to mind really for like a marketing film or anything like that for me, but I'll give you the stage.
So a film that I think is aligned with marketing in terms of, or what makes me, where I've got synergy with it.
Something that can inspire you. Right? It might not necessarily be a film about SEO.
No, I mean, I think The Social Network, right. It's probably a lot of people, it's a bit of a cliche answer, but I think that's really fantastic in the sense of watching. I mean, for me, I've been quite entrepreneurial and tried to start into businesses myself, and for me, I think that a lot of them failed, and the success stories that you see, like Ben Francis from Gymshark and stuff like that, absolutely brilliant success stories. But yeah, I think probably Social Network's brilliant in terms of how he actually came, to the position that he was in, and obviously what Facebook has become as well. It's just berserk.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one actually. I never thought about that. But again, we talk about entrepreneurship and that whole piece. No, that's brilliant. That's a really good suggestion. What about a book? What about a podcast?
McKinsey podcasts. Yeah. Do you listen to McKinsey podcasts?
No, like McKinsey is in like the firm. The manager.
Yeah.
Last guest, Jerry Hill is ex-McKinsey.
Is he actually?
Funnily enough, yeah.
I'll be watching that. I bet he's absolutely switched on to the match.
Shout out Mr. 27 Seconds himself.
But yeah, obviously the guys at the firm at McKinsey are natural born problem solvers when they're talking about logic trees and stuff like that. So any McKinsey podcast, I mean the McKinsey podcast is fantastic. They're doing a lot of stuff looking at COVID recovery at the minute,
right?
But well up there.
Brilliant. I'll need to give them a listen.
You should do, mate. They're brilliant.
Yeah. It'll be the total opposite to this.
Yeah, it will. It's I think, what did you say, the podcast graveyard or something like that on your first podcast?
Sales banter podcast. But no. So look, my goal is to get this around 20 to 25 minutes, which is about now.
I'll be there.
We need to get back to work, because you need to get some cash in the bank to pay for my wedding next month in Malta.
That's going to be fantastic. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
If the stag do's anything to go by, that's going to be a wild one, isn't it?
Can't talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not going to go there.
But no, absolute pleasure having you.
Very much.
Cheers for coming up as well. It's lovely to be able to do this in person.
It is.
Can't wait to share this with all our mates.
All our friends,
get Fiona, my fiance, get Danny, your missus.
Yeah.
Even get Harper to give it a listen, your daughter, and I'm sure you'll be back here soon. And feel free to come to the office whenever you want and work from here.
Appreciate that. Thanks very much.
Stuff, mate.
Being good. Cheers.
Love you, mate.
Love you, pal.